Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Jizz Talking for a Sunday. We have Keisha with us. Keisha, thank you for responding to my email from 6 years ago and calling me. It was such a nice surprise, and then I missed your damn call. So anyway, but we got together and you told me you'd taken a little bit of time off just to regroup on a few things, and now we're back, and you decided to bust open the memorabilia storage tank, and you have a boatload of stuff for us.
Yeah. I decided since I had all this stuff, I'm like, oh, let me see if I can get a website up by today. So I've been feverishly working on getting this website up so that I could share all of this stuff with you guys.
You bet. The website is pornstarkeisha.com.
Yes.
www.pornstarkeisha.com. You've got all sorts of pictures from about every stage of your career, movie slicks, what I would say, and you just have a lot of stuff.
Well, actually, what I have up there is just a little bit because it's very tedious putting everything up there. So I only had time to put, I don't know, maybe 30 photos up there. I have a lot more, and I've got some big photos and stuff. And I even have like my roller skates from Boom Boom Valdez. I've got some amazing collector's items that'll just be unique, one of a kind things. And so, yeah, it's going to take me a little time to start rolling out the things. But yeah, I managed to get everything out of storage. I'm like, okay, well, let's go ahead and share this with everyone.
Well, we have a full house, and we're so happy to have everybody here. We do this every Sunday night. Next week, our guest will be male star Brad Newman. So stop by next week. And of course, Keisha, you're always invited to stop by anytime you want.
Thank you.
and just say howdy. We want to switch things to Jose Duval says, I want to speak first. And so Jose, go ahead.
What's your secret? You look exactly the way when we worked together. When I was the crazy wrestler. You are the lady, from all the ladies that I work with, you are the one who was the nicest.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You make me feel great the night before when you met with John Leslie. And then the day of the shoot was amazing.
Oh, thank you. So if you guys don't know, Jose Duval did what was the name of that movie that we did?
Night Shift Nurse.
Yes, Night Shift Nurses. Okay, Night Shift Nurses was John Leslie's directorial debut.
Yes.
And he was a really good director. I was very impressed with him as a director. I didn't think he was I don't know. He wasn't my favorite person to work with as an actor, but as a director, I thought he was amazing.
Had a great time.
Yeah, that was fun. So yes, Jose Duval played Detso Ritter, the man who wrestles with himself. So I got to wrestle with the man who wrestles with himself.
It was a fun thing.
All right. Well, thank you, Jose, for stopping by. Always a pleasure to have you. And I know you only come with when the good ones, when I have the good ones. So anyway, Richard Pacheco's with us as well. Richard, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Richard, hello.
Good to see you again. Night Shift Nurses was the first movie I worked on after I retired from being an actor. So I'm on the set that day as John's AD. I was his assistant director. And my job was to run lines with the actors before they went on for those scenes to make sure they were ready, and also to do whatever else John wanted me to do. But my experience that day as a first-time person on a set without being the one to do the sex scene was horrible. Horrible because of you. I'll tell you why. I wrote this down. Keisha puts the V in voluptuous and the V in vivacious. I wanted her so bad. This only happened one other time to me, and it was in my next movie when I worked with Ona Z. Again, my wife had told me at this point, we had made a marriage decision. because of AIDS that I not only was retired from the business, but I was monogamous. This was a 1-2 punch directly from God that I was in no way prepared for, especially after I met you. If you remember that day at all, I mean, you were working and making a movie, but what I was doing was following you around the set like a fucking puppy. I just,
You know what my biggest memory of you is? Okay, first of all, your reputation preceded you because I was really good friends with Nina Hartley, and Nina Hartley would just be like, "Oh, I love Richard Pacheco. He's my favorite person to work with." And she would just sing your praises, and I'm like, "Well, where is this Richard Pacheco?" And so I remember meeting you on the set of Pretty Peaches Part 3, and remember I had to like go pee behind the trash can or something in a scene, or
I'll never forget it. You're supposed to pee on me. I was sleeping there. I was a homeless bum.
Right, you were playing the homeless guy, and I was going to pee behind the trash can. I was supposed to pee on you or something.
Well, I was sleeping there. You didn't know I was there.
Yes.
That was 3 or 4 movies after this one.
Okay.
When we worked together, because by then, I had to get used to it. It was just devastating to me to be that turned on and to have nothing I could do about it. It was the first time in 10 years that it ever happened. And I did not like it. And, I had a choice there. If I was going to be a pig and chase you and try to seduce you, my marriage would have been over and my parenthood would have been over. And my wife would have probably shot me in the head with a gun. So it was a tough choice, but I had to respect that and just grin and bear it all day. But I was in love with you. You are astonishingly alive. And had it to give joyously to everybody on the set, regardless of your relationship to them. You were just a wonderful person, and I was thrilled and delighted and miserable.
Thank you. That is very sweet of you to say.
Thank you, Richard. Thanks for that. Hey, we want to welcome back now that we shifted our times a bit back, so he can be here and then he can go to work. Steve's with us. Steve, it was great to see you in Chicago. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I hope you can hear me because I haven't had this on since the last time I was on one of the Zoom shows. But Keisha, thank you so much for, sharing your time with us today. But I'd like to know about what you're doing now in terms of with your psychology degree and that you are working towards your master's. And I know there's something with like marriage counseling or something along those lines. If you could just talk more about what's going on with you nowadays.
Yeah. So let me give you a little backstory. So, I started in the business in 86, and then in 1996, I'd been in the business for 10 years, and I'd done the feature dancing circuit for like 9 years. And I was a little burnt out. And so I decided to go back to college at that time. And so from 96 to 99, I did all of my general education at Santa Monica College. So I got a chunk of my undergrad out of the way. But then one day after one of my finals, I think it was my Spanish final, I got this gut feeling to go back into the business. So after a few years of kind of taking a break from making movies, I went back into the business and I made a whole bunch more movies. And then, that just kind of thwarted my education trajectory. And then, so I was just doing some writing at the end of 2021, like, where do I want to go from here? Because I've been working as a sacred sensual healer, which I love. And it's a, combination of tantra and sexological body work and energy healing. And I love doing that. But I was curious, like, well, what direction do I want to head in? And I wrote down psychology degree. And I've always been interested. My 4 passions are sexuality, spirituality, psychology, and personal growth. And I've always, been studying those things. And so I wrote down psychology degree. And then I'm like, I remembered this one college that a friend had told me about. So I looked them up and anyway, long story short, I ended up getting accepted, and I started back to school January of 2022. I'm just going part-time. There's 6 terms in a year, and I'm doing 5 because I like to take off the summer to live a balanced life. And so when I started, I had 8 classes. I had 16 classes that I need to take to get my bachelor's. And I am currently in my 8th class, so I'm almost halfway through. So I'm on schedule. Let's see, my last class will be January, February of 2025. Then I'll graduate in spring. And then I'm planning on going to pursue my master's in psychology starting in the fall of 2025. So, and then in addition to that, so my 3rd class was human sexuality. And of course, it's my favorite class. I really loved it. And I was doing a research paper on, we had to do a debate, show 2 sides of an issue. And fortunately for me, one of the issues on there was pornography. So I had to show 2 different sides and then give my own opinion at the end. So while I was doing my research, I came across Dr. Marty Klein's work. And I'm like, oh my God, I remember him. I'd read his book, Sexual Intelligence, and it was so good. And I really like his view of sexuality. He's just very open-minded and very balanced. And I think he has a very sex positive point of view that I really appreciate very much. And I just love his work. And so then I'm like, what's that Marty Klein up to? So then I went online and I went to his website and I saw that he had all these webinars. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. So I started taking his pre-recorded webinars, and then he had some live webinars. And then I got an email for his next course as a consultation course. I had no idea what that meant. And I just signed up for it. It was his next course. And it turns out that course is actually for people who are already therapists to bring their cases and get feedback from him. And so anyway, we had a call prior to this course, and he's like, oh, well, do you want to present a case? I'm like, oh, me? No, I'm just a college student. I'm still getting my undergrad. And so much to my delight, he allowed me to stay in the course. And so, and then he offered me to do a monthly mentorship with him. So I have been doing a private monthly mentorship with him as well as the consult course. So I feel like I am learning so much, and I'm so excited. So I feel like that by the time I get my graduate degree, that I will be very well prepared to work it as an LMFT. So yeah, so that's how that came about.
Cool. Very cool.
Fantastic. Okay, Claire's with us. Claire is spent some time with us at the X3 event in LA, and then also in Chicago. She was kind of the whip cracker. She kept everybody in line in Chicago. Claire, go ahead.
I sure did. That was a delightful time. Hi, first of all, I just want to say you look incredible, and you have such an amazing, warm, feminine energy that I just think is so just it's nice. And hearing that you're into spirituality and healing, it all makes complete sense.
Oh, thank you.
But I just wanted to ask, what was it like to come into the industry kind of as the golden age was ending? Were there any golden age performers that you were fans of and excited about working with? Did you get to work with them? And how did it meet your expectations, or was it completely different than how you thought it would be?
Oh, can you repeat that last part? You cut out just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, sorry, my internet's a little shaky today. Just what was it like to come in kind of at the tail end of the golden age? Was the industry what you thought it would be? Was it completely different? Were there any people you were working with that you got to work with?
Well, I hardly had seen any porn before I got into the industry. In fact, I don't think I saw any regular porn before I got into the industry. I started working in phone sex. Also, I didn't know at the time that there was a golden age of porn and that I was coming in at the end of it. I was just a little girl going, oh boy, this looks like fun. And so I didn't know anybody in the industry. Actually, that's not true because I worked for this fantasy phone call company and there were a few stars that worked for the company. So there was Hypatia Lee, Colleen Brennan, and Leslie Winston.
Hmm.
And so I remember like, seeing them on the call sheet and like being really curious about it. And so the owner of the fantasy phone call company took us all to an X-rated award show and Hypatia Lee was there. And let's see, there was Amberlyn, Gingerlyn, Bianca. Oh, Bianca looked stunning that night. I remember looking at her and going, like, she literally took my breath away. Like, I was just in awe of everybody, but I was just like this little phone sex girl, it's like, I was really in awe. And so I was very curious about it. I'm like, this kind of looks like fun. And so then about a month later, I went to an industry party and Suze Randall saw me there and she did a test shoot on me and she sent me to the agency. And so then I just started working and I didn't know anything about the industry. I was like, how long do people stay in the business? Like, how long do you do this for? I had no idea that I was going to end up in a 21 years in front of the camera career. So I didn't know anybody, but I got to know people. My best bud in the business is always Nina Hartley. She kind of showed me the ropes. She was my mentor and I loved her. She was like, that awesome feminist, like, she had such a great attitude. And I'm like, oh, I love Nina. And so she was 2 years ahead of me. So I'm like, oh, okay. Cause like before I got into the business, people are like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You're going to end up hating sex. You're going to end up hating men. You're going to get on drugs and become a flake. And I get into the industry and I meet Nina and she's none of those things. She wasn't a flake. She didn't hate men. She wasn't on drugs. And I'm like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. So Nina was always like such a good friend to me and we're still good friends to this day.
Thanks a lot, Claire, for that. Hey, we need to go over to Sweet Pea down in Florida. Sweet Pea, go ahead.
Hi, Keisha. You look great.
Hello.
I just wanted to ask you, is there any moment in your career that you had that would set out on when you were on set that stood out among any other moments?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of times I would just do a movie and move on. I'm somebody who like really stays in the moment and values being in the present moment. So a lot of times I would just, go and do a scene and just move on. But that being said, because I will actually like look at old movies of mine and go, I don't even remember that. But I think one of the most remarkable scenes, or one that kind of burned into my memory, was the scene that I did with Nacho Vidal. And I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. And I have no memory. Like I would have to actually see a list of my movies and go, oh yeah, it was that one. But I remember doing the scene with Nacho Vidal and we had so much fun together. And that one stands out for me. He was a really fun guy. And so if I had to say anyone, that would be the one.
Great.
I've got a photo that Sweet Pea asked me to share, and that's looks like you two together.
Oh, look at that. Okay, so that looks like it was at something like maybe LA Erotica or something, or Exotica LA, or what was that, Len?
Yes, it was before I was going to see Christy, I saw you, and then I had some flowers in my hand. You thought they were for you.
Well, and they weren't?
No, unfortunately, I wish I had more flowers to give for you as well.
Ah.
Oh, well.
I'm sure Christy appreciated them.
I invited Christy here. I think she was she's got her live show at 5 o'clock your time. So I don't know if she's going to fit it in somewhere, but hopefully.
Oh, okay.
And Leslie Winston, she was signed up, and then she says, "Oh, it's a holiday weekend. I got something else going on." And I'd still love to get Colleen Brennan on. So we haven't had her yet. And
oh my God, can I just say she was just the sweetest. So I talked to her before I got into the industry. She was one of the people that worked for the Fantasy Phone Call Company. And when I was trying to figure out, like, should I do this? And, is it going to mess up my life if I do this? I talked to her, and she just told me what it was like. And she just was very realistic, and she just let me know, the reality of it. And she really put my mind at ease. And so I'll always remember her for, sharing the information, the realistic information, not the horror stories and all that. But, and then her and I did a movie together. I do remember the movie of this, actually. This one did stick in my brain. It was called Innocent Taboo. And we filmed on a houseboat in the Sacramento Delta. I mean, these were the days, like we had such a good time, and the food was horrible. And I remember the director like putting spaghetti sauce on white bread and going, this is really tasty. But the food was horrible. But we did have such a good time, and Colleen Brennan and I had a scene, and she was very sweet and lovely. And I really appreciate just how kind she was to me. And that, she let me know what the business was like before I actually got in. She gave me the confidence to move forward. Like, oh, okay. I see that this is fine and doable, and you could, have a fun time in it. And yeah. So.
Well, I'm going to talk to Leslie and see if we can't work on getting Colleen on. She's got a hell of a good sense of humor, and she'd be just a fun gal to have on, I think. Really.
Yeah.
Hey, don't forget, right now we're talking with Keisha and her website, pornstarkeisha.com. She has a ton of collectibles on there and is going to add more by the week. And also next week, our guest will be Brad Newman. And we do this every week. So stop by and we'll talk to Brad next week. Adam is with us. Adam, good to meet you in Chicago. Go ahead.
Yes, it was great to meet you, and congratulations on your podcast. And Keisha, of course, you look fantastic as always. Amazing. One of my favorites of all time. But you had two phases to your career, as you mentioned before. I guess I have two questions. Number one, what is your favorite performance from each of those phases? And secondly, were there any guys in the industry that mentored you at any time throughout your career?
Let's see. Okay, so what was the first question?
Of your first time around, and then your second late 90s, early 2000s, those two phases of your career, what were your two favorite performances from each of those?
Oh, wow. I think in the earlier part, the Pretty Peaches Part 3, I really had so much fun making that. It was with Alex Dorenzi, and it was shot on film, which was rare because when I came into the business in 1986, they were just in the process of switching to shooting everything on video. And Alex Dorenzi was kind of like, he was very artistic, and he loved shooting on film, and so it was kind of a throwback to the golden age of porn, which I didn't know existed at the time, but I was really happy to be working with Alex Dorenzi and to be playing Pretty Peaches Part 3. And I guess there was one, I've never seen Pretty Peaches Part 1 and 2, but he was kind of perplexed at my performance because he had told me that the two previous Peaches were more cartoon-like, and I was very real. Like, I didn't know how to act like a cartoon, I guess. but it was so much fun to make that movie. I just remember because it was a multi-day shoot. And I remember that there was some days that I was on the set and I didn't have sex. And I remember going around asking, hey, I'm on a porno shoot. Is it too much to ask to have sex? But I only had like a couple scenes in there. But yeah, there was a lot of days where I didn't have sex in the movies. And it was really, there was this one dream sequence where Lynn LeMay, I think she played my sister or something. I can't remember. But we were in this dream sequence and we were underneath her skirt and she had like tons and tons of pairs of pantyhose on and we were like ripping the pantyhose off to try and get to the center. It was just such a creative and fun scene. So that was really, really fun. And then let's see, in the scene, in the second half, one of my favorite scenes is, of course, the one with Nacho Vidal, where I can't remember the scene. I also did some scenes with Nacho Vidal. I used to have a subscription website. Anyway, I'll just interject really quick. I'm planning on creating an OnlyFans with some of my old content from my old website because I just got, like I said, I just got all the stuff out of storage. And I'm like, okay, I got to do something with this. So I'm going to be taking the summer term off. So while the summer term is happening, I think I will put a little bit of focus into creating an OnlyFans and putting a lot of my old content from my old website on there. But I also I remember doing this scene for Elegant Angel. And I don't remember the name. It could have been something like Sodomania 13 or something. I don't know. They had like a whole series of Sodomania. I don't know which one it was. But I remember doing like this orgy scene. And it was really fun because we were just all on set, like having sex. And they were just going around with cameras and filming us. And we just kind of like did what felt good. And that was really fun. That was a blast.
All right. Let's go to James. James has a question. Go ahead, James.
Well, Keisha, let me say, first of all, you look absolutely stunning.
Oh,
I mean,
thank
so
you.
beautiful. I love that backdrop that you've got.
Oh,
there,
thank
too.
you.
That's really, really gorgeous. I could spend the whole hour just talking to you because I'm such a fan. But I know that my time is limited. So
Well, actually, James, before you ask a question, I will let you know that you can talk to me for an hour because one of the things that I have on my new memorabilia website is the option to get a VIP chat with me one-on-one. You can get a half hour or you can get an hour. So if you want to talk with me for an hour, you can get a chat with me. So just letting you know that's available. So
I will
yes,
definitely look that up.
good. So
Don't be
go
silly
ahead.
like me. Don't be silly like me, James, and miss your call at 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, I won't. I will leave my phone plugged up.
There you go. Go ahead, James.
I just want to say just how much, you said that you started in 86, right?
Yes.
And that's, at that time I was in the military and I remember we had a VCR. So, we used to watch porn all the time. But I always was enamored at the fact just how much of a powerhouse that you were. Because I know that like in 1988, you had like what, 20, 25 titles that were released just in that year or something like that?
I have no idea. I just did them and forgot them.
I know, but I just want to know, what was that work ethic? I mean, how you were able to churn out so much in such a small amount of time like that? That was just amazing.
I got into the business and the first 2 weeks I was just booked solid on still shootings. And then I got my first movie and then the agency just kept sending me on shoots. So I would just show up and do them. And
the one movie that I really remember you from it was a film, I believe it was called ETV. And it was with you and FM Bradley. There was a scene with you and FM Bradley.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great movie. I really enjoyed that one because I remember because that was one of the ones that was actually part of my actual library that I had. But I just want to, it's just amazing being able to talk to you, and I'm such a huge fan, and this is great. And I will take you up on that offer to go on your website and look for it.
Oh,
Get
great.
that.
Oh, I just also want to mention that I have my website up and running, but consider this a soft launch because I just kind of like threw this together in the last 10 days. And so I don't have the ability to like pay on the website. I have it hooked up so that you can pay through PayPal. But yeah, so I'll be getting all that within the next month. It'll be fully automated, but right now you have to like manually send me a payment by PayPal.
All right. All right. Thank you. It was great
All right.
talking to you.
You bet. We're going to go from one James to another. James Bartholet is with us, and James is relaxing. And James, go ahead.
Hi, happy Memorial Day, everybody. Hi, Keisha. How are you?
Hi. Good.
I don't know if we ever met after all of these years, but Christy Canyon and I would love to have you call into the show this Wednesday on Inside the Industry, if you get a minute.
Oh, what time is that?
It's 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific time.
6. I think I can do that.
Oh, she'll be so happy to hear that. That'll be great. Look at all these people that are in here. My God. This is a testament to you, girl. This is great. Well, I hope the weather's better out here. It is very cold and overcast out here. Global warming.
You know what? I actually am enjoying the May gray because I live in the valley and sometimes it just gets so hot here.
That's where we are too. We're in the San Fernando Valley and it's overcast. It's crazy. Yes.
I've actually been loving the May gray. So.
Yeah, it's nice. But I'm sorry I came on so late. We are in the final hours here of getting everything together for our launch for the new Inside the Industry television channel on Roku TV. Yeah.
Oh, how cool.
So that's going to be 24 hours a day. It's going to be like E, but with lube. Boing. So, yeah. So we'll have entertainment news and episodes and stars coming on and giving tips and answering fan mail and stuff like that. So it's going to be really good. But boy, we would love to have you on calling into the show. I don't know. You're not here in the San Fernando Valley, I take it, right?
I am.
Oh, you are? Maybe you could come down here.
As long as I get my schoolwork done,
okay.
I will come down there. My schoolwork takes priority.
I cook, so I think we're making salmon steaks this Wednesday.
Fabulous.
Look at all these guys all salivating. They go, James, we don't want to hear that. We want to hear about her and sex and lube and everything. So anyways, I wanted to get a quick little plug in there for the show because, that's what us Jews do. We're always plugging stuff, right? Right, Richard? Yeah. So we're always doing that. And, we'll be at Exotica in July and putting stuff together. And I'm still performing, a lot of us that started many years ago, they've gone on and then they've gone on with their life. But I'm still in this stuff and doing scenes and knocking stuff out. So, it's great. It's a wonderful porn life, isn't it, Keisha? It is.
Yes,
it's a wonderful porn life.
I've really enjoyed having a less than traditional life trajectory. It's been fun living out the outside of the norm of society. I like that I've gotten to live a different kind of life.
Well, I have a question for you, Keisha, yes. And I don't know if anybody's asked you this. Have you been tempted to think about doing any mainstream stuff, like a walk-on or something, a little dialogue thing?
I've done a few things, like years ago. Do you remember Kent Natividad?
Oh, God, yeah.
He used to do these R-rated movies, and I did a little something in that. I was in this movie in 2006 called Beer League.
Oh, yeah.
That was written by Artie Lang. and but I don't have a passion for acting.
Oh, wow.
When I was in the industry, I was a performer. I wasn't an actor. I was just me being me, having fun, having sex on camera.
But you're great at dialogue. You're great at dialogue too.
I could say dialogue, yes, but I was still not acting. I was just being myself.
Okay.
So I don't have like when I think it would be really fun to be one of those actors. You know, I was just watching this this thing on HBO Max called Love and Death, and the actress that played Candy, what is her name?
She's
Elizabeth what?
Elizabeth Olsen.
Exactly. Her acting was so good in that. And I'm like,
she's the best one out of the whole Olsen family. She really is.
She's amazing. I'm just so enthralled with her acting talent. And I don't have that kind of acting talent. I can admire it in other people, but I more just like being me. I'm just me. But
okay.
I really have a passion for sexuality and spirituality and psychology and personal growth. So now that I'm pursuing my psychology path, I feel really excited about it because it's something that I've always been interested in, something that I've always studied. And every class that I'm taking, I'm getting so much out of it. I'm just enjoying the heck out of it. So I feel like a teenager again, being back in school.
Well, the reason I brought that up is there is a mainstream horror movie that I'm doing called Scissors. Another plug. We're filming in August, and we still got the Indiegogo campaign. But there is a couple of speaking roles in there. They're small little parts, and I don't know if you'd be interested in reading for it.
Sure.
Okay.
Like I said, I can read dialogue. I'm not like a good actress like Elizabeth Olsen.
Okay. And it's a horror movie. We're not going to kill you in this.
No, okay.
You're doing dialogue.
Actually, it wasn't a horror movie where they killed me. I was 25 years old. Watchers 2, The Outsider.
Ooh, I don't know that one. I bet Patrick could look that up and find out about that.
It was based on a Dean Koontz book. It was like a series of books called the Watchers series.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah, so I remember I was killed in that movie.
Okay, cool. Well, let me throw the thing open to some other people that want to ask you questions.
Yep, great. All right, thanks a lot, James. Always great to have you stop by. Buck is with us. Buck, you've got a movie in your hand here. Hold a little higher.
Oh, he's got Beer League.
Is that
Pitching Machine? Pitching Machine.
Is that where they did the competitive drinking out of the boot?
No, it was a summer softball league. And Keisha appeared at the bachelor party as Pitching Machine, where on camera it appeared that she would shoot ping pong balls out of her private area, and the participants would take wiffle ball bats and swing at the ping pong balls.
Well, you know what's funny that I remember about that movie was some of the dialogue was like really, I'm like, do people really talk like that? So my character did cocaine. I do not do cocaine. And I'm like, because I had to say something like, oh, give me a bump. And I'm like, and then I had to ask, like, oh, how do you do this? Because they had some like powdery substance that I was supposed to snort. And the director was like, of course, I'd have to hire the one porn star who doesn't do cocaine. I was like, but it was fun. I had such a fun time on that movie. Like everybody was so sweet. Let me tell you how I got that movie. Okay. So years before, I danced at a club in Manville, New Jersey called Frank's Chicken House.
I've been there. Holy cow, I was there.
Yes. So the guy who wrote that movie, or directed, I can't remember if he wrote or directed it, or maybe both. He had been a fan of mine, and he had seen me dance at Frank's Chicken House. So then years later, he became a staff writer on Saturday Night Live, and then he was writing this movie and directing this movie. And so they were throwing ideas around for who could do this part of the pitching machine. And they said, we should get an adult actress because it's easier to get an actress who does adult stuff to do less than they normally do than to get an actress who is only done R-rated stuff to get her to do more than she normally does. And so they were throwing names around, and Frank was like, how about Keisha? So they Googled me, found me, emailed me, and I'm like, yeah, I'd love to do it. So I had so much fun on that. It was really a blast.
Well, I will be sending that to you to autograph.
Okay. Yeah. If you go to my website,
I already checked the website. I already put a bunch of stuff together for you. That is definitely getting autographed with the inscription pitching machine.
Oh, and I'm really glad that you reminded me of that, because I do have a few extra copies of that. So that'll be something that I can put on there as well. I think I've got maybe six copies of that, 6 extra copies. So I'll put that on the website as well.
Well, poor Buck shows up an hour early because he didn't know the time change and he misread something. But anyway,
well, I always work on Sundays. This was like a first Sunday I haven't had to work, so
I knew I wanted to get him on because it's rare for him to come on once in a while. But he's a great guy. So
well, thank you, Buck.
And Ed's with us. Ed, go ahead.
Hi, it's Ed from Canada. Happy Memorial Day, everyone.
Hi, Ed.
I want to thank Patrick for his great work, and I want to thank Keisha for coming and visiting. And I think you may already have answered the question I was about to ask, but because you're so busy with school, but you're not a traveler. You don't go. There's so many conventions and events, and have you thought about maybe sort of returning to that scene in some way? To show up at the autograph, hang out with the old crowd and sign autographs and sort of, get just sort of what you're doing right here, but in a larger scale.
I traveled 9 years for feature dancing, and that exhausted me. And then I did another 7 years of traveling for personal appearances, and that exhausted me. And now I am a homebody, and I just love being at home, doing my little thing. And, if I'm going to travel, I think I want to travel for, like a fun vacation or something. But yeah, I really relish just being at home now. I love being a homebody.
I just want to say one last thing is that nacho scene, that's a life changer. That would be the one I would mention if I was thinking of you too. That's
okay.
One of a kind.
Do you remember which movie it's in? I think it was something like Stupid Cupid. No, that was a different movie. No,
I don't recall the title, but I do recall the scene.
I have to write down like a list of my movies and stuff. There's so many movies that I don't remember the names or who was in them. But if I looked at a list, or if I looked at the box cover or something, I always need a memory trigger, but I can't just pull it off the top of my head. But I do remember that the funny thing was that Joel Lawrence, that was actually, the scene was actually his dream. So while we were doing this amazing scene, Joel Lawrence is in the background in a black and white, like French maid outfit. It was just so bizarre. I have no idea why they put that in there, but anyway,
thanks a lot, Ed, for stopping by. Always great to see you. I've got a picture that I cannot display because I think both Zoom and YouTube and Facebook and even probably Twitter kicked me off for it. Zach had a picture of you that's what you might say is very graphic. Go ahead, Zach.
I think we would take a whole site down with that one.
Where's Zach? I'm trying to find him on my screen. Let's see.
I'm waving.
Oh, there you are. So whenever you guys talk to me, I move you so that you're right in front of me so I can see you.
By the way, I think that movie with Nacho is Head Trip.
That's right. It was called Head Trip. That's right.
And the Polaroid that he's mentioning, which I guess he can't even show with a big red X on it. You probably don't remember the club, or probably me, but you took a pretty explicit Polaroid with me at a club in Philly called Charlie's Dream, which is probably
I remember Charlie's Dream. Oh my God. Yeah, that was, I remember that place.
You stuck to the floor when you went in.
Yeah, I remember that place. And yeah, I remember that after my shows, I had like a variety of poses you could get. So if you were you wanted a conservative pose, you could get the prom pose. You could get the tits on the head pose. And you probably got the spread eagle pose, maybe?
Yeah, if you look real quick, yeah.
Yes. Oh, wait, let me see, Patrick.
Okay, yeah, here you go.
Oh, yes, the spread eagle pose. Yes, that was very popular.
all my buddies in college approved.
Very good.
All right, Zach, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for
Thank you, Zach.
sending me the picture. He had to send it to me a text message because he didn't think that even Facebook would allow it to go through. Morty's with us. Morty, how you doing tonight, Morty?
Oh, doing good, Patrick. How you doing?
Excellent. I got Keisha in the house.
Yeah.
Hi, Morty.
Hello, Keisha. Hi, Keisha. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Nice meeting you.
Good to meet you.
Yeah. I guess I really don't have. I guess everybody's asked my questions of whatever I could think of, but I guess first time I remember seeing you was in a movie with it was Shawn Michaels.
Oh,
I think it was In Love and Color.
Yes, In Loving Color, where he played. So at the time, Arsenio Hall was really big at the time. So he was playing Arsenio Ball.
Right.
And so I got to ball Arsenio Ball.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he was just there. You left an impression on me. So hey, But,
Shawn Michaels was such a sweetheart. I always had fun working with him.
No, that was a great series he had. They're good parodies. But yeah, I can't really think of anything else to really ask you. But I think I got another movie of yours. Could I send a case to you to have signed?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that you want me to sign, I've got the sign and return, and you can see on the website pornstarkeisha.com. Just click on sign and return. It has the address to send everything to, and anything that you need me to sign, I can sign it and return.
Okay, yeah, I looked on it today. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice what you got.
Oh, thank you.
You look great. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Morty. Eric is with us. Eric, go ahead. Question for Keisha.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Good.
Keisha, you look incredible as always.
Thank you.
Question for you. Hypothetical situation. You're starting your own movie. Who do you cast as the male lead, female lead, and director? Present company excluded.
Oh, I don't know. It's been so long since I've made a movie. I don't even know who's working in the industry.
I mean, you could do anybody from the past.
Let's see. I don't know. You've stumped me. Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I was in the industry, I just had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person where I just kind of like live in the present moment, and I just do the next thing in front of me. And when I was doing movies, I was having a really good time. And now that I'm not doing movies, I don't really think about it. I just working on my schoolwork and doing my sacred sensual healing. And so I haven't thought about like if I were, let's see. I wouldn't mind doing a movie with Henry Cavill if I could pick anybody. Superman.
Little Superman action.
Yeah, that I wouldn't mind doing a movie with him. That would be fun.
All right, Eric, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for being a part of tonight. Alex is with us. Alex up in Minnesota. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. So the first X-ray feature I actually saw was Night Shift Nurses.
Ah.
Yeah, I ended up finding that through my dad's closet. I found the old VHS tape case that, you could use as like carry-on luggage and everything. Oddly enough, I'm actually a huge pro wrestling fan, and you wrestled Exo Reader in that film. So, yeah. And I saw in the itinerary of like who's in this room, though, is like he's actually in this Zoom call. So I was wondering, do you have any specific memories on Night Shift Nurses?
I remember this one scene that we were shooting, and it was such a cute scene. And I just remember he had us lined up and we were walking and he had us bend over. And and I don't know why I remember that. Like there are like so many things that I don't remember. The memories didn't sync, but for some reason, just doing that scene where we just had to walk forward and bend over, I think it was for the credits or something like that. And but what I do remember, I was so impressed with John Leslie's directing. He was very organized. He was very efficient. He was, the way that he worked with us was very professional and gentle. And I was beyond impressed with his directorial debut. That's what I remember most about that movie.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate that. Patrick is with us. I like Patrick's background posters there. The Saucy Pizza Girls. Love that movie.
Hello.
Let me find him. Where is it? There. Okay. There we go. Okay.
Yep. Hello. How are you?
Good.
My question to you, the first thing I ever saw you in, I used to work in a video store and I'm in Oklahoma City. So we didn't get hardcore stuff in Oklahoma City, but the video store I worked in sometimes would get like a catalog that actually had clips in it. I saw a clip for Bob Chin's The Honeymooners, which you were in. And that was the first thing I'd ever seen, just clips of that. And when I finally got to see it, I didn't know that Bob Chin had directed it. And I finally saw it and I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Because I'm currently writing some stuff on Bob Chin. So my question to you is, do you have any memories of working with him? I know you worked with him twice, but on that movie in particular, because that movie is actually pretty saucy. So.
Tell me a little bit about the movie to give me some memory triggers.
It's Peter North and Bunny Blue. They come to a place where Frank James is running a sex cult, and you are from 50 Minutes. You're an investigative reporter, and you are trying to uncover the what's going on in this place. And you have a scene with Peter North, and you have a scene with Erica Boyer at the end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's, and you may have, you have another scene. You have one more. You have 3 scenes in this thing. So, I mean, it was a, kind of a showcasey thing for you, I guess. But you have the most scenes of anybody in it. But yes, the one that seems to be, I don't know, it pretty hot is the one with Erica Boyer. So that's the one that, probably is maybe the most memorable. I don't know, but anyway, that's the movie.
I love working with Peter North. I mean, who didn't love working with Peter North? He was always amazing, and I always loved working with Erica Boyer. And in fact, one of my most favorite memories of Erica Boyer is that she and I were dancers at Bruce Willis's bachelor party.
Oh.
And so they had rented out this gigantic sound stage, and they had a lot of dancers there. And most of them were just like topless in a bikini. And I felt really bad for the dancers because they were just like background. Nobody was paying attention to them. Nobody was tipping them. They were just like background eye candy. And so I went on the main stage, and I was the first and the only one that went totally nude. And like, as soon as I went up there and I was like, showing my thing, showing my things, they went up there and they started paying attention. And then we did this little thing where Bruce's bride is here. And so Erica came out in a wedding dress. And then I proceeded to undress her, and we did a girl scene on stage, and like they were just throwing like $100 bills at us.
It's understandable.
That night was such a fun night. We had such a blast, and there was like so many. It was definitely a star-studded event. But yeah, that was really fun.
Oh, sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
Patrick, thanks for stopping by. If you get a chance to talk Bob Chin into being on, I've asked him a couple times, and my limit is twice. I only ask people twice, and
I will say that I loved working with Bob Chin. Like, he had just such a beautiful, calm demeanor. Was very respectful, very quiet, very laid back. Yeah, he was just easy to work with, like super easy to work with, super laid back, super easygoing, just such a nice person.
Awesome.
Okay. All right,
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Joseph is with us. We're winding things down. So Joseph, go ahead.
Alrighty, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. I took a look over the website, and I'm definitely going to be placing a couple orders and sending some stuff in. If you take a look at the picture, I'm trying to find some of these big photos that you used to have.
I have those. I'm going to be putting them on the site.
This one's, I could bop my head a little bit, but I'm trying to be respectful of Facebook's rules here. But
okay.
There you go.
Yeah, so these pictures, I actually have some left. And like I said, they were in storage for a while. And so I actually, I'm going to be putting them on the site over the next few weeks. I actually have a meeting with the web designer, and he's going to teach me how to put things up on the site myself. And yes, those large pictures are things that I have. And what was that from? Was that from Erotica LA?
I'm not entirely sure. There's a website I go to that chronicles various porn stars. Past culture. It's called Vintage Erotica Forum, and you have probably about 84 pages of material on there, and most of them are the old internet days with a small little picture. You click on it, it's still a small little picture. So I'm looking for like slides and transparencies, somewhere I can make decent sized prints. But I think I found a couple leads on that finally.
So what is the site that you mentioned?
It's called Vintage Erotica Forum. You can search movies, you can search actors.
Oh, great.
And your particular one, it's going to be like classic stars. It goes up to like 1995, and then modern stars like 1996 to now. So you can find pretty much everything, but they've probably got, I'd say about 80 pages worth of material. Wow. And it's stuff from their website that they've nicked here and there, and scans from magazines, clips from movies, things along these lines. So if you need a refresher course on your career.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that, because when I was doing all of this stuff, okay, if I had to do it all over again, I would have collected every magazine, every movie, every pictures from every photo shoot. I just didn't, like I said, sometimes I live a little too much in the moment where I was just there. I did it. It wasn't a big deal to me. But now that I'm looking back, like I love looking back at the memories. In fact, last summer, my brother passed away, and I ended up coming into possession of the family photos. And oh my God, I did post some of them on Facebook, like, me and my dad and my mom and some of those pictures of when I was a little girl. And it's really incredible because it's amazing all the memories that it stirs up when you're looking at past pictures. And I never was a picture collector, and I never realized, I wish I could go back and tell my younger self, just keep a copy of everything you've ever done. It'll be really fun to look at it, when you're in your 50s. So, yeah, so that'll be fun. So thanks for letting me know about that. I'll go check it out.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Joseph. John's with us. John, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I didn't think I was going to make it home, so I pulled over and I'm in the Jack in the Box parking lot.
Get a taco for me.
You got it. Keisha, this is a privilege for me. You've always been my top 3 performers ever, and we've managed to meet a couple of times, and you're just like the sweetest person. And I'm not sure I really have a question that's already been asked, but I guess what I really want to ask you is, and forgive me if it's been asked, is there any circumstance at all that you would consider doing another film?
Probably not. When I was making movies, I had such a good time. And I used to be an exhibitionist. Like, I really had fun taking off my clothes in front of the camera and having sex in front of the camera. And I was a natural exhibitionist. And I'm not anymore. Like, I just don't have that exhibitionism in me the way that I used to. And I used to get a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of juice from it. Even like when I was 13 years old, I'd roller skate along the bike path and I'd flash my breasts. I love getting people's reaction, and I just kind of grown out of being an exhibitionist. And I don't know why. It's just not my thing anymore. But I mean, the only time people see me naked now is like, I do the sacred sensual healing. And that's something that I do in the nude because it's a very powerful, it combines sexuality and spirituality and energy healing, and it's very transformative. And I do that in the nude, but that's not about me being an exhibitionist, because when I'm facilitating a session with somebody, I'm there to be of service. I'm not their partner. I am a goddess who is, whoops, I knocked over my water, facilitating an experience. And it's the session's not about me or what I look like. It's just about sharing the energy that I have and the energy that I channel. I source the earth energy and I source the universal light energy. And, in Tantra, if you see the little green here, the love energy is here. So I'm using all of those energies for, to facilitate this experience. And I use a lot of heated, warm, organic coconut oil, and I spread it all over. And it's just an incredibly sensual experience. And it's just a lot easier to do it when you're nude, I'm using my whole body and there's lots of oil involved. So yeah, so that's the only time but I'm not really into getting nude on camera anymore. I just kind of lost that desire to show off my body anymore. It's like, I'm 56. I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I had a great time doing it. And now I don't really have that desire to show my body off on camera.
Well, I'd love to do that Ted, just that sensual service with you one day. But
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here, and you're so gorgeous, and just thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, John. I stopped by when I was in California the last time. I stopped by Peter North's house. He just turned 66, if that doesn't make you feel old.
What?
And
I didn't realize he was 10 years older than me.
And he looks like he could step right back in front of the camera like that and just,
I bet.
And just go.
Yeah, he was always into health and fitness.
Yeah. He was eating a salad when I got there. And it stunk. Oh, good God. Greg is with us. Greg, we're going to wrap things up with you. How about a good question for Keisha?
I actually don't have a question per se. I'm thankful. Hello, Keisha.
Hi.
You see me? I just, like I said, for Morty, Richard, all the guys, I'm like, they pretty much asked everything. And the one thing, because when you started in 86, I was a junior in college. So we're about the same. I'm a year older than you. I'll be 58 in September. So.
And I'll be 57 in October.
There you go. So it's just you, how can I put this? The energy that you're bringing right now, it's like, it is just refreshing. I'm putting hearts on the screen because it's like just listening to you talk, and I'm thinking, now, don't get it twisted now. I'm like thinking, what would it be like to be with her, just to lay down with her just for an hour or two? But I don't have a question. I'm just like, I'm in awe.
Thank you.
You are absolutely amazing. And I'm thank you, Patrick. Thank you, everybody. More just as Shawn Michaels said, you're slamming in that when he was in you're slamming.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
Greg.
you.
Greg, hope to see you next year in Chicago at Exotica.
I hope so too. Yeah, definitely.
Good enough.
Thank you, Patrick.
You bet. Take care. All right. Well, let's wrap things up with Richard Pacheco. Richard, any final thoughts?
Yeah, Greg, you just hit the nail right on the head. You know, you get the touchdown, you get to run the lap. It should touch you to see how many people you touch and the way you touch them. You bring an innocence and a joy to sex and an absolute lack of guilt and disgust. It's mwah! Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank
Patrick
you.
Crane, I wanted to wave to you while I see your face. It's nice to see what you look like. Thank you for coming, Keisha.
Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, it's just so great to have you. And again, we'll promote this website. I'll post it a couple more times within the site in the next couple weeks as well. Pornstarkeisha.com is the website. She not only does we'll sell you items, but you can do through the mail, TTM as they call it. She has a price out for that. And then also, don't forget, next week is male star Brad Newman. And so we're going to welcome Brad next week. So again, Keisha, thank you so much for being with us. It's just been a spectacular event. And those who missed out tonight really missed out.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
You bet. Okay, we'll catch everybody next week here on JizzTalking.com.
Actually, I will be there next week. I got to write a paper.
You are invited anytime you want to stop by. Open invitation. So,
well, I'll keep an eye out, and if I don't have a paper to write, I'll pop in.
Of course, sure. You can find us on Twitter at Jizz Talking, or just go to our website www.jizztalking.com. We'll see everybody next week.